Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Moletrap here, bringing another StarCraft commentary. This is another game from the MSL Top 100, and this is a game between those two gentlemen on your screen right there. Kingdom on the left and NaDa on the right. NaDa goes by C.C2S2 sometimes. This is going to be a nice little TVP, and this is from the MSL Top 100 series, the series of games that MSL put out that was like, these are the 100 best of the hundreds, thousands, perhaps even tens of thousands. Actually, I don't know. There might have been tens of thousands in the whole life of the MSL, but because this series was put out, I think in like 2000, end of 2006 or something like that, probably didn't have multiple tens of thousands of games out yet. But anyway, this is one of the better ones. This game was played on December 2nd of 2004 on the map Luna, and if you're not familiar with these two legendary gentlemen, NaDa is the teal Terran in the bottom right hand corner of the map. Kingdom is going to be the blue Ro8 player up in the top left hand corner of the map, and this is from the YATGK MSL round of 8. This is from the quarterfinals. This is the first game of their series of the quarterfinals in this MSL. Sorry, meaning it's just a funny well, I guess it's not an acronym, but "You Are the Golf King Now" was the sponsor, and so people usually just write YATGK. Anyway, you get the idea. But anyway, this is gonna be fun. Kingdom, someone that we don't have on this channel too often. He was definitely a strong player, especially in 2004, you know, like 2003 to 5. So he's not someone that we like hear about too much these days in 2021, but he was a very well known, very well liked player in the early days, the first half of the 2000s, or you know, about this era. So, and NaDa, of course, is just an absolute gosh darn legend. Kingdom was good, but he wasn't legendary good. NaDa was legendary good and legendary successful, and just a legendary guy. He's just, you know, become a real, he's done so many things in esports. I've gone into this in general before, but, you know, the fact that he was able to have so many accomplishments in StarCraft, and then also be decent in StarCraft 2, and, you know, have a team surrounding him basically in StarCraft 2. I don't know if he actually coached that team, but he's done a few other things too. Anyway, he's going to be the Terran. He's going to go ahead and send out this scout, a very early zealot. Well, not very early, but a pretty early zealot. It's coming across the map here. NaDa has not really set up his base to deal with this zealot very well. He didn't put, like, you know, barracks next to a depot in order to have like a little wall or something like that. And actually not even sure where his depot is. Where is his depot? Something forever? Dom forever? Not sure what that was about. So he's had to make a little SCV wall in order to try and protect his Marines. The probe is chasing him as well. So, I mean, I guess at the very least, as long as this zealot is chasing the Marines, he's not going after SCVs, and he's realized, okay, well, it's fruitless to just keep chasing these Marines. I'm going to go ahead and send it, or after the SCVs, trying to distract it. So NaDa is just desperately microing all of his units in different directions. Surprisingly loses a Marine, actually. This is actually, you know, decent micro, but I would have expected more from NaDa, honestly. NaDa is usually a micro god, and, you know, I would have thought he would have ended up splitting his Marines in different directions, something like that. The probe alongside there really messed things up as well. You know, the Protoss like to fight with the probe alongside the Zealot. Get that last little hit in there when the Zealot can't quite polish them off, and keep the Zealot from having to spend an extra hit to get the last hit points on the Marine or what have you. Okay, so NaDa losing 3 Marines. I don't think he lost any SCVs at least, but losing 3 Marines in order to deal with 1 Zealot and 1 probe. Not the best trade, I guess, as far as just the minerals go. I guess the minerals even out technically. 3 Marines and his equivalent. So, I don't know. He's gonna get in here. We saw the Citadel earlier. Is he? No, he doesn't go to the left. The scouting SCV snuck by the Dragoon and was able to get into the base but he didn't actually go right over to the left a little bit just to see that Templar archives warping in right now. Now, what the Korean observer was just kind of pointing out to us a moment ago is that there was no spinning motion on the cybernetics core. So that could have been still a clue to NaDa. He could have noticed that and been like, oh, wait, he's not getting Dragoon range? What's going on here? Something is up. Something is up. There's something abnormal happening. So is he going to catch on well enough is the question here. He's got a nice little tank on top of the ramp. A few Marines guarding it. He's building a second command center, ladies and gentlemen. Just the one gateway, so he's only going to be able to put out, you know, one Dark Templar here. This is a super fast Dark Templar rush. And it looks like he's actually using the DT rush to cover an expansion as well. Wait, no. Where's that probe going? I thought he was there to make a Nexus. And he was going to go into a longer game. Which, you know, like I said, he's only got one gateway. So he's not planning on any kind of all-in attack off this is what it looks like. But I don't know. We'll see what happens with these couple Marines, a couple tanks moving across the map. Again, I don't think NaDa expects to really, like, this isn't like a super hardcore attack or anything like that, but he wants to scare those Dragoons off, clear out some space for him to be able to get some stuff out. The engineering bay is almost complete, ladies and gentlemen. There's no mines. Oh, the engineering bay completes. Is he going to be able to make turrets in time? Does he know that that Dark Templar is there? The Dark Templar is coming in here. He's going to go straight for it. He sees the blur on his screen and immediately cancels the turret, knowing it was going to get chopped down. He might have wanted to let that Dark Templar take a couple chops at it, though, in order to buy time for the turret in his main to complete. Is it going to complete? The turret is underneath the engineering bay! Oh, what a genius. He's calling the genius Terran for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. NaDa putting the engineering bay over the first turret so that he cannot right-click it with the Dark Templar to kill it, and saves that turret so he can actually use the turret as a screen. Why is he not? What is going on here? Oh, he's blocking. He's blocking the ramp with one Dark Templar in order for the other one to kill that tank. That's kind of clever. But in any case, he's able to use the coverage of the first turret to build a second turret that can cover the area around his factories, and so he can at least defend for now against any incursions where that Dark Templar or any of those Dark Templar are going to come in and try and, you know, get some free chops on the building or on some units or anything like that. So he's prepared for that. He's getting Comsat Station as well. So the DT rush, not successful in, you know, killing anyone or anything. He's actually getting 2 Comsat Stations. That's kind of clever. He's like, I'm gonna, you know what, I'm gonna spend the 50. I'm gonna spend the 50-50. I'm gonna get this Comsat Station, even though I'm gonna float off of it in a minute. But I need two scans to get out of here and deal with these Dark Templar in order to. Oh, but they're divided up. The second one's gonna come down here. He has a second scan that he's gonna have ready though. Oh, the first scan hadn't worn off yet. There, he gets the second scan down, polishes off that Dark Templar, and this Dragoon is a little bit lost, a little bit confused. Dark Templar, actually, I'm sorry, Dragoon. Although it may have been intentionally trying to run past to try to see what was going on in there. So now he's actually going to move that command center over. Kind of interesting, because then actually rebuilding the Comsat Station is going to rebuild the energy faster than if he just waited for that single. Anyway, but obviously he needs to go and get his expansion up and running. We did see that Kingdom has made an expansion of his own, so the Dark Templar rush was in fact used as a cover for the expansion. So he's able to rush the Dark Templar really quickly, and then right? Yeah, okay, there's the expansion right there. And getting up a lot of Dragoons and stuff as well, so building up his army. And, you know, NaDa's is not too far behind. His expansion isn't too far behind. And he does have the advantage of having killed the Dark Templar and not really taken any significant damage from the Dark Templar rush. He, of course, had to build the engineering bay, which he was building anyway, just in case of DTs. But he got that out. He lost not too much. Lost a tank. And really, you know, just had to build a couple extra turrets maybe. But in general, not too big of an issue for NaDa to deal with that. So I think things are kind of even right now, because NaDa was getting his tech up as well, getting his units out. He was able to continue making, you know, those factory units in preparation. Now he's getting extra factories up going as well. So anyway, point back, I think things are kind of going to even out here. NaDa has to still kind of be stuck in his base for a little while, though, because even with a couple of Comsat Stations, you know, there's not, he can't just run across the map, because he'll easily, if he encounters one or two DTs along the way, he'll have to burn all of his scans. Now if he has mines, that's another story. Okay, these vultures are actually going to completely spot the shuttle as it's going across the map. Not a very sneaky route for that shuttle, actually. I guess he's just determined that he's just going to go straight into the main and just see what he can do, and it doesn't matter if he sees it coming. He's still got to do something to defend against this. So single Marine is going to stand guard against the evil Dark Templars, and he's actually going to drop that DT out. I thought he was going to go for the Marine. A Zealot's in there as well. 2 DTs and a Zealot. And he is actually going to scan and try to take out the Dark Templar. He picks up the DTs inside the shuttle. And this is why I thought he was going to kill the Marine with a DT, because then he has a little bit of impunity to run that shuttle around wherever. It'd be really nice if a Goliath popped out for NaDa right now. Anyway, another scan goes down. He again immediately picks the DTs up. I think I heard one of them die, but I'm not certain about that. So we'll have to see what else is in there. But in any case, like I said, NaDa, now he's just used a couple more scans. He doesn't appear to be trying to get vessels or anything like that. He's just going to try and depend on mines, probably. If he's making this many vultures, he's got to upgrade the mines. Well, even if he was only making less vultures, he still won't need to get those spider mines. DT dropping out here. Another scan goes down, and I didn't actually see or hear if that one died, but point being, he's being really obnoxious and burning the scans here. By burning up these comm scans, he's making it so NaDa has to still stay kind of put and can't make much of an incursion across the map, unless of course he does the classic NaDa move and classic Terran move, I guess. But NaDa is very good at having the good timing for doing a drop and, you know, planting four vultures in your opponent's main at a crucial moment or something like that, or a pack of medic marines for that matter if it was a TVZ. But in any case, so this shuttle running around with Dark Templars is being very effective in just distracting in the long game. And so very good to see that. Kingdom is able to get down to third base as well in the meantime by use of that pressure. But NaDa doesn't really care. He's actually getting his own third base over here as well. And it looks like Kingdom is going to miss out on a little bit of a chance that he had to drop in here before. Let's see. Actually, maybe he is still going to be able to, because the turret isn't completed yet. Scan goes down. Picks up the DTs again. Very, very clutch play by Kingdom. And I remember this is 2004. This is 2004, so this is, you know, micro that would be expected from any Protoss player later on, but in 2004, this is also, I mean, you know, from the top pros, you could kind of expect it, but I'm just saying, he's good. He's doing good. Kingdom's good, that's my point. In any case, kind of having a little argument with myself there in my head. I'm trying to figure out what that thing is behind NaDa. Like, there's this pink and beige thing. Oh, they're like cartoon people that are like dancing around in the background. Okay, I get it. The one behind Kingdom was a little bit easier to figure out what was going on there. In any case, that's a fleet beacon, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Dark Templar finally dies. Takes out a Marine with it, though. So it's done its job. Still a lot of distraction running around in that shell for a while, but that is a fleet beacon, ladies and gentlemen. The armories are already up. NaDa is pumping around a round of vultures there. We just see rallying out of his factories, but wouldn't be surprised to start seeing some Goliaths popping out as well in order to be able to fend off potential air. He might just got the armories for upgrades, I suppose. You know, hopefully he'll expect that this is coming. He's going to be using some of his scans. Now that he's got 3 ComSat centers, ComSat stations, whatever they're called. He's going to be able to use some of his scans for scouting. If he doesn't already, he's going to find out pretty quickly that the carriers are on the way. Now, looks like it's only 1 Stargate, though. I only remember seeing 1 Stargate. 1 Stargate carriers is not too threatening. Especially off 3 bases, you can probably afford to pump out of 2 Stargates, but we'll see. Anyway, nice little Zealot bombs going off here. Actually, ComSats preemptively expecting DTs to pop out, and the Zealot pops out. The splash damage damages the tank. So nice little effective little cheeky little maneuvers here by Kingdom. A 4th base going down for NaDa, and it looks like he's got a vulture over here in position to scout to see if Kingdom puts down a 4th base, which he has not yet in any other location either. So nice little line of factories there. Kind of a cute little Sim City going on for NaDa. He's actually going to build a starport as well. And you know, he might just be building the starport so that he can get science facility and get level 2 upgrades, but we might see him get out some vessels as well. theoretically, to, you know, just kind of have something to deal with the Dark Templar that are going to be running around if he's running out on the map, since we do see that Kingdom, although, you know, Kingdom, there's nothing saying Kingdom has to make more DTs. He's probably going to be making HTs pretty soon as well. Ooh, nice little interaction there. The mine's doing some serious damage to those Dragoons. The Vultures are like, if we stand our ground right here, they'll be distracted by us and the mine will hit them, and it worked perfectly. So just NaDa has been kind of picking away little by little at Kingdom's army. Kingdom hasn't really been able to get much of an advantage with these drops, and I feel like NaDa's macro has just been a little bit overpowering. Okay, there is a second Stargate there now, so he's going to be able to pump out multiple carriers at a time. 2 is multiple. Oh, nice little mine go. The mines have been really clutch mines here. So he is going to get some vultures in here, but he's only going to find this one probe, and it looks like he might actually be able to force a Nexus cancel if the observer, if there's no observer nearby. But it looks like there is an observer up ahead, so he's going to be able to clear out the mines, clear out the vultures with these Dragoons, clear out that base in order to be able to save the Nexus from going down. He'll be able to transfer some probes over there before too long, get his extra base going. So good job by Kingdom. He is trying to keep up in the base count. NaDa looks like building another base on the left side of the map. He's just got so much money. He's just building bases all over the place. It's kind of crazy. There's the starport up. Another factory going down as well. So NaDa is just exploding with his production here. Tons of factories, tons of bases. He's going to have just so much money coming in that he'll be able to just start pumping out tons of factory units. Now, you can never underestimate carriers, though. I'm not super familiar with this map, Luna. I mean, I know it a little bit, but, like, I'm not sure. I can't remember any recent games where I've seen carriers on it or something like that. It looks like it's probably an okay map for carriers. Just, I mean, like, all maps are okay maps for carriers, basically, because carriers are just good. But it doesn't seem like it's super... well, I guess maybe it is okay for carriers, because there's basically carriers are going to be better when there's a lot of, like, ridges that they can fall back to, when there's terrain that they can use as defense, and there are a lot of lakes and rivers and things like that on this map, so it is possible that the carriers could be used advantageously. NaDa is also spread out on the map right now. Look at this! He had the one cannon down on the pylon block. He's building gateways and pylons to continue blocking the spot. Dragoons coming in from the side. Are they going to be able to get these vultures in a sandwich before they can go through? The probe built another pylon to finish the wall before the first probe was killed off, and I don't think those vultures can sneak through there. They cannot. So those vultures are stuck, and one Dragoon runs up there. He planted down a bunch of mines because he's like, well, these vultures are going to die. Might as well plant some mines. But one Dragoon ran in there, triggered the mines, and killed most of the vultures and most of the mines. Brilliantly played by Kingdom. So kind of a big loss there for NaDa. What did he kill? One pylon, couple Dragoons. What did he use? Like 10 vultures? That's a pretty big loss. Now the vultures are obviously more expendable than those gas units, and he's probably near max, so it's probably not a huge deal, but still, very well played. You know, you got to get some advantageous trades in there if you're gonna take back some of the advantage, because I do feel like Kingdom's macro has been a little bit behind, to the point that he is at a disadvantage. Now here come the carriers out onto the map. Can they even things out here? Because again, NaDa has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases or something like that. Kingdom only has 5, I think, at this point. Although he's probably going to get a 6th up very soon. But I mean, that's one of the things, is when you switch the carriers, you're spending a lot of money on the carriers, you're spending a lot of money on the Stargates and all the infrastructure to get the carriers. That's money you're not spending on units, and that is something that your opponent can take advantage of and say, okay, well, if you've got no units right now from this chunk of money because you're building tech, then I can have no units from that same chunk of money and build an expansion and get my econ going a little bit better, which is the choice that NaDa has taken here. And so he has gotten his macro up and running pretty far. He's got a bunch of Goliaths in the mix as well now. Oh, that Zealot almost ran some mines into those Goliaths. So here come the carriers coming into combat. NaDa is relatively prepared for them, but he needs to be very careful. He doesn't want to engage these Dragoons just with the Goliaths themselves. He needs to have his tanks involved there. A single Dragoon kind of pelting away at tanks at the top. Kingdom kind of trying to go at those tanks from 2 different angles. And it looks like Kingdom has kind of backed himself into a corner here against NaDa's base. And some of his Dragoons are firing on the command center, while some of them are engaging against the Goliaths. He needs to kind of focus on one or the other. And NaDa is actually going to fall back from that location. He's going to try and regroup. But Kingdom is now trapped a little bit. NaDa's actually running his SCVs out of that location, and this is... Oh no, this is terrible for NaDa. Kingdom's going to be able to camp on top of that ramp and keep NaDa from getting up into the base while the carriers kill everything on the low ground. If he gets up into that space, and he has gotten up in there, I feel like the Dragoons need to be split up a little bit more. He needs to bring the carriers back, I think, and start dealing with these tanks. But it looks like he might just be sacrificing his ground army. I think, yeah, Kingdom is just like, I'm going to keep a few Dragoons at the top here and stop this army from getting up the ramp for a little bit longer while my carriers just pick off SCVs, I guess. He was attacking SCVs earlier. Now he's going to go straight for the command center. Command center goes down. But again, Kingdom has just kind of sacrificed this whole army, this whole giant ground army of Protoss units in order to get those bases. And you know what? I'm there for it. I think it's a good move, actually, because you know, at this point, Kingdom is probably near maxed. You know, having NaDa up 2 bases, maybe even 3 at some, he might be getting another one in this sort of 3 o'clock position. You know, that the remax is going to be so easy for NaDa at that point that you can't trade very effectively. But if he can go in there and trade his army for 2 bases, I mean, it wasn't a huge army. It wasn't like all of his forces, because he got so much supply tied up in the carriers and, you know, other units they had rallied out there. So he lost maybe a dozen Dragoons and a dozen Zealots or something. It's a significant army, but killing 2 bases for it might be worth it, because now there's a little bit of a window here where he can try and catch up economically. However, there's the same window where NaDa has a superior army because he just obliterated the ground army of Kingdom without really losing much, and so now he has an opportunity. And you saw he was trying to go across the map to take advantage of that and go after Kingdom's core of his bases, and instead Kingdom counterattacking with the carriers is going to draw NaDa back. And he's split his forces, though. He's brought the Goliaths back to deal with the carriers. He's sending out the tanks to counterattack the supply lines of the external bases, the income bases of Kingdom now. So Kingdom looks like he was going to get yet another base of NaDa's, and he may still yet get that 3rd base. But in the meantime, NaDa is trading back and getting Kingdom's expansion up here, and there is another expansion behind that as well. So again, marching into that sort of natural of one of the other spawns means that he can go up the ramp and secure yet another expansion, exactly what Kingdom just did. Now here's the thing, what's going to happen with that army is NaDa, it looks like he's chasing the carriers with his Goliaths down to the bottom left. Oh, there's still a few Dragoons there actually that he left alive. NaDa is running up to the top right with most of his tanks. Again, if Kingdom could get his carriers up to the top right, if he did like some sort of magic recall, I mean, not magic, but like magic, because I haven't seen him get Arbiter tech, so it'd be magical that he had it. But if he could, somehow get those carriers up to the top right and kill off the tanks, he might be able to even things out. But instead, he's just going to sack those bases and go for NaDa's 3rd instead. It's kind of a crazy pseudo base trade going on where both players are just attacking each other's expansions and whittling down the economy of each other with their giant armies. And he's gotten the 3rd. He's killed it off. He killed off the command center. He's up to about a dozen carriers now, by the way. So that is a huge, huge army. Only a few Dragoons to kind of go alongside and kind of babysit the carriers. And frankly, it's nice to have them there in case, they can do a little bit of damage against the Goliaths. They can buy a little bit of time for when the army goes in there, and that's exactly what they're doing right now. The carriers might be a little bit trapped. One carrier goes down to the massive charm boosted missiles going after him. A 2nd carrier goes down as well. He's trying to stay near that command center to get his interceptors on top of it and actually kill off the command center. NaDa is repairing it with several SCVs. It might not be enough, though. Whereas NaDa, again, going into the 3rd base, oh, he's going to sneak in the back and get the armories. Nice move. If you can shut down the production of Goliaths for a little bit, he might be able to get a little bit ahead. But again, neither player is focusing on defending their expansions, really. They're kind of just focusing their bulk of their army on moving forward and killing the enemy expansions. So now we went from a 6-base Terran versus a 6-base Protoss to a 2-base Terran versus a 3, possibly soon to be 2-base Protoss. And remember, they're both mined out AF in their mains, and their natural expansions are probably actually mined out or close to it also at this point. So you can see NaDa trying to rebuild his 4th over on the left side of the map. Gets shut down again. It was shut down previously when we saw the Dragoons go back down there earlier. And so anyway, very, very interesting game this is turning out to be. And And there was probably just a little bit of a hiccup there where I had to edit this together because when I was casting this yesterday at that point in the video, I had to stop suddenly. And so now I'm back to finish the game though. And luckily I did take a look back because I actually was like, oh, I got to cast the rest of that game, put the two parts together, publish it today. And I was like, wait a minute, what was happening? But I remember what's happening. You guys don't have any problem with that because you're probably watching this contiguously. If you happen to pause it at that exact moment and like come back to watch it later, that would be an epic coincidence. But yeah, if you are just joining us like I am, we've got NaDa trying desperately to hold on as Kingdom marches around the map with carriers, though NaDa has been killing Kingdom's base as well. And actually, this might be the deciding point because it looks like the carriers have been caught. One goes down. They've got nowhere to retreat to. Two go down. And luckily, the Zealots and the Dragoons were able to clean up those Goliaths on the low ground in order to save the rest of the carriers there. And now they're going to have to fight these other units coming up. But again, the Kingdom in a really good spot. And again, kind of sacrificing some ground units in order to keep his carriers alive and doing damage, basically, and to get a base. He kills that base again. So NaDa is now... well, NaDa's been expanding like crazy, though, so he's kind of been keeping up a lot better with his expansions to make up for the fact that he's losing some. I like this Kingdom trying to pick off some of these tanks on the side as the carriers are in a really great spot there on top of that ridge. Where is NaDa headed to now is the question. It looks like he's headed up the middle of the map. He may want to shut down any possibility of Kingdom continuing to expand himself and staying in the game. If NaDa can keep one or two expansions up and continue to shut down the expansions of Kingdom, he can secure the game that way. And one way to do that is to be a distraction with things like these vulture attacks. Look at those mines. Oh, beautiful, beautiful play. Did you see that? He ran all the vultures, placed mines everywhere in a nice spread, and then retreated at the exact perfect moment so the vultures themselves are not actually hurt by the mines. Very, very skillfully done there, as always, from NaDa. So Kingdom has gotten one base up on the left side of the map there. It's only got a few probes mining, so it's not really in the best shape economically. He's not in the best shape economically, but he does have something incoming. It looks like he has the 12 o'clock base as well. So if he can hold this push off, it's potentially possible he can come back, but he loses another carrier. And I don't think he has the money to replace those carriers right now. He may be spending all of his money on carriers, but he actually may just be spending all of his money on placing interceptors. It looks like he's building up Dragoons in addition to that, or maybe instead of that, actually getting a Dragoon army out. But now NaDa pushing into this 12 o'clock base. And again, Kingdom shutting down the 1 o'clock base before it even gets completed with these carriers. NaDa just constantly forced to decide between pursuing the carriers and pursuing the expansions. Does he want to defend his own economy or try to erase his opponent's economy? And I do feel like he wins the base race if it does get into a base race at this point in time. He's again targeting some of the carriers, but there are just so many ridges on this map. You know, I was kind of debating it, if I remember correctly, yesterday. Earlier in this video, I think I was debating whether or not this was going to be a good map for carriers, but I see now that it is very good for carriers. And let's see, I like this move. So NaDa is, again, he split up his forces. This is a wise decision. He knows the carriers are stuck on the right side of the map, so he's going to send all of his tanks. He did this before as well. He's doing it one more time. The tanks can be independent from the Goliaths, and they can deal with any Dragoons that come out fairly easily. And of course they can deal with the cannons and deal with the bases as well. Nice. Dark Templars in the mix, coming out here to try and even things out. Dark Templars, the the #1 unit for Protoss to make when they are either A, winning, or B, losing. They're the comeback mechanic, and they're also something that you can really just, you know, defeat your opponent. Well, I guess maybe C if you're rushing. It would be another occasion when the Dark Templars come out, but it's just you know Protoss is not feeling comfortable when they're busting out the Dark Templars as a last-ditch effort to try and deal with a situation from behind when they feel like they're not in great territory. So Kingdom loses that 9 o'clock base. There it goes down. I guess I saw it coming. I knew he'd lost control then, it was gonna die, but there the Nexus actually gets killed off. So now we have Kingdom, I think, making one final push into NaDa's natural, which he's actually floated his command center. There's not even a command center to pick off there. There's not actually anything to get here at this point, and NaDa is not going to come home. I think he knows that, well, actually, where is he going? He's camping. Is he just going to rebuild his main on the left side of the map right now? Is he just gonna rebuild over there and just sacrifice his main base basically? It kind of looks like what he's doing. Maybe he feels like it's too much of an effort to uproot his whole army and go over to the right side of the map. And I think he knows that if he can be mining and the kingdom is not, even if he loses his main, he'll still be in good shape. And it looks like NaDa is going to be lifting those factories, shifting them away. Yeah, he's definitely going for a base trade situation here. NaDa, I think he knows that he's shut down Kingdom altogether, though. He knows that Kingdom is not mining right now. He can just camp. He's got vultures, you know, keeping track of that 9 o'clock position, I think. Vultures around the map, making sure that Kingdom is not able to secure any other positions here. Now, this might be the final battle, ladies and gentlemen. He is coming in. And actually, that's a completely different base. NaDa is kind of vesting everything into that bottom leftish sort of 7 o'clock base. So he's actually just going to completely give up the 6 o'clock base. And it's going to come down to one final battle at the 7 o'clock base. And if Kingdom cannot shut down the mining there, then NaDa will have the long-term advantage. But Kingdom has a decent army here. And Archons can float, luckily for them, running up, taking out these mines. Nicely done. If he cannot, Kingdom cannot afford to lose a single unit right now. He cannot afford to lose a single unit because basically it's going to come down to one final army. Kingdom has mined out everything he possibly can. It looks like he's completely not even going to try and build another base because I don't think he can really afford to or manage to. So it's going to come down to one. Oh, he's actually going to float up to this high ground too. He's like, all right, I have to invest everything in this one army basically, and continuing mining with this one group of units. And so he's actually going to lift off from the low ground, which is very difficult to defend from carriers, and go up to the high ground, which is very easy to defend from carriers. So he's going to be able to keep that. And so what I was going to say before is Kingdom is basically kind of trying to use every last ounce of money that he has to build up one army to try and defeat NaDa once and for all, because that's kind of his last ditch effort, is to do so. He's going to have one opportunity to do so. He's kind of harassing with these carriers right now, but this is not his full army. He's got those Archons and Dragoons in the background. He's trying to pick off the tanks. I think he knows that if he can pick off the tanks preemptively... Oh no, and there's the GG coming from NaDa. Wow. I was not expecting that, but GG coming from NaDa, and the casters were, the observer was just noticing. See if I can go back and show you this real quick. It's hard to get the adjustment right on the, so the casters were just pointing out that there was no comsat station, and I think there must have been a Dark Templar attacking the Goliaths or something like that, and he had no comsats left. And at that point, it doesn't matter if he has enough Goliaths to deal with the carriers. One invisible man could defeat infinite Terran units if there's no scanner and there's no science vessel and there's no turrets. And you can see he was trying to build turrets up on different places. He had a turret down here that he had built on the low ground. When he evacuated the low ground to come to the high ground, he was, I thought I saw him building a turret earlier, but don't see any turrets right now in this view. And so Kingdom actually takes the game, and I was not expecting that at all. And it looks like he actually took out that last turret. Yeah, he had one turret, and he was trying to rebuild an engineering bay or something on the side there. The turret goes down, and NaDa just gives up at this point. And because he doesn't have an academy, he doesn't have a base. He lost his whole main base. He didn't rebuild anything. He doesn't have any factories. Doesn't have any depots. So I think it's just also that he realized, yeah, see, there is a DT in there. Okay, so the DT sealed the deal, but you know, NaDa was just so far behind at that point, losing his main base. It was kind of a gamble, but I wonder if NaDa should have counterattacked instead of trying to hole up at his base. But again, you know, maybe, but he needed something for detection, and so he couldn't counterattack because DTs would stop him without a vessel. So, you know, he couldn't just like float his buildings along with his army and do a counterattack and do a base trade that way or something like that. But anyway, just phenomenal play by Kingdom, and just an epic ending too. And I really thought up until a couple minutes before the end of the game that NaDa was going to be able to take it, because I felt like he did have the superior army, he had the superior positioning, he had the mining going for him, he had shut down all of Kingdom's expansions. Then Kingdom is like, nope, the ultra late game base trade scenario is where the Protoss can shine with the Dark Templars. So well played, well played. Definitely, you could see why this is in the top 100, though. What a cool game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks very much for watching. GG.